Hi.
Hello, hello,
Hello,
hello.
hello, and welcome to Please and Take It With You. On today's episode, we will be talking about
Eurovision.
Eurovision Song Contest, The Story of Fire Saga.
Yes, starring Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams. And oh gosh, that guy from
Dan Stevens.
Steven. Is that his name? Dan Stevens?
Dan Stevens.
I loved him. I didn't finish Downton Abbey, but I did love him
is he on that? I didn't watch it.
I'm pretty sure that's him.
Bookmarked it.
Check. It's a solid. It's very did you like Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility? It's very that. It has that. But we're not talking about that movie today.
Not today, at least.
So this, first off, I'm Bailey Maxwell.
And I'm Caitlin Martell.
And we're so excited to talk about this film today. This one came out on Netflix not too long ago. Last
It was in
June?
2020. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think it got some hype, but because of the pandemic and it got pushed back because it was supposed to be released during the
it was supposed to fall in line with the 2020 Eurovision Song Contest.
Yes, thank you.
Did it get released after? Is that right?
Yeah, they pushed it back to June.
They pushed it back.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And because it was supposed to be
Eurovision takes place in May, and so it kind of got held off until June. And then I think just because we were all kind of at home, nobody talked about it.
Yeah.
Really?
It was,
I love it.
Yeah, it kind of slipped in there. I think a lot of other things were going on, so it wasn't.
We were busy.
We were
as
really
a
busy.
Society,
as a nation. So I don't think it quite got the
no.
It didn't quite have the soapbox.
I had not heard of it until it was you might like this on Netflix, and I was like, I don't know. It might be kind of stupid. And then I watched it and I was like, it's delightful. And so
I feel like with anything that Will Ferrell is in, it's kind you kind of understand it's going to be a little stupid. You know what I mean?
And it is, fair. But it has so much more heart than I think I was expecting. Which I should know better. I mean, he did Elf, and that movie's just delightful.
Well, you know what I think it is that the writing itself is super simple. If you really look at the dialogue, it's very easygoing. And so what it really revolves around is the characters and who they create. And I think the cast is so well done that they have these really interesting, amazing, different characters that make this very simple text funny and feeling and so sweet,
charming and very sweet.
Yes, that moment with Pierce and Will at the end, when he's like, you got up from the hamster wheel. You were brave,
you did it.
I'm proud of you for sticking. I was like, that what a sweet father-son little moment for them. So I liked this one a lot. The director is David Dobkin, and he's kind of interesting in that I don't really notice he's kind of all over the place as far as his projects go. He's getting ready to direct Wedding Crashers 2, I guess, but he did that the film The Judge with Robert Duvall that he ended up winning the Oscar for. So that seemed to be his most notable one, notable
work.
If you were to have, seen something of his, but it's a lot of TV. And then he did some stuff for Maroon 5. So I'm guessing that's where the music
kind of falls in.
Yeah. So, but I couldn't really find a ton on him, to get a real vibe for him.
Bopping around, doing what he wants.
Yeah, but he did great. I mean, if the sing-along section alone,
oh my God,
I think wins the whole movie for me. The beginning and end could have been whatever, this film is fine, but that mix of those 5 numbers was wow.
So you know what?
It blows me out of the water every time.
The song along is actually what made me watch the movie. because I think I was scrolling through Instagram or something, and I
did you watch it first?
I did. I watched the song
gosh.
along first. I had seen it on Netflix, like, and I was like, oh, I mean, I like Will Ferrell and I love Rachel McAdams, so like that's probably fun. I don't know if I'm in the mood for it today. And I'm like scrolling through Instagram, and it was just like a video, and I was like, what's this?
What is this magic?
And I loved it and was like, this is delightful. And so I told Preston that night, I was like, we're watching it.
I need this. I can't believe that I don't believe for one second that at any moment in your life, you're going to be like, I don't think I'll watch that Rachel McAdams film. Look at you. Look at you. You're her stunt double. And you're like, I don't know if I will. No,
it was more of like a not today thing of like, okay, bookmark it. It's in my list on Netflix. I did actively add it to my list. And then I was like, we'll circle back to this.
Okay, I can respect that. That's fine. That's fine. I also have to say that seeing Will Ferrell in a white unitard shake waiting in a dressing room is like a fever dream for me.
Like, I love the dialogue in that because it's so simple and so funny. He's in there like stuffing his crotch, and she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, it's to make it look bigger. It's people like that. And she's like, oh, well, should I do a camel? Camel.
She's like, oh, well, yeah. Well, let me get on board.
And he's like, yeah, that's good. That looks great.
I think Will has such a good job of writing in like dumb innocence. Like, you know what I mean? It's sort of a crass joke. You know what I mean? A camel and a moose
but it's so
joke.
sweet coming out of Secret's mouth.
Yes. She's like, oh yeah.
Oh, is this what we do? Great. I can do a camel.
I'm a team player. I love that. I love that energy.
So funny.
So good.
And I learned in my little research about the movie and Will Ferrell, he's got a personal love for the actual Eurovision Song Contest. And so he, I guess, has been following it since 1999. He's married to a Swedish woman, and she had taken him to her cousin's house in 1999, and like they had it on. And he's like, I love it. Which what's not to love?
I had never heard of it before, so I can only imagine.
I had like to see it in real, heard of it and like knew
life.
that it existed, but I just love that he was just like, I follow this. Like he's like actively known. He's like done interviews with Graham Norton, who's also in the movie as himself. Where he's talked about how much he loves the Eurovision Song Contest. So it's like a well-known fact that Will Ferrell loves Eurovision.
That makes me so happy. It makes me so happy. And he did
like a ton of research for it. So
he got to follow one of the countries, right?
He went to the 2018 Eurovision Song Contest in Lisbon. And he was part of the Swedish delegation. And so he was given access to follow like the entire show, start to finish, including all the rehearsals, which I'm like, that's so fun, especially for someone who clearly loves it.
What a cool little experience. Oh, that sounds amazing. You know, it was so funny though. I mean, because obviously he did all of this research and the rehearsal processes and stuff, but basically everything in the trivia section of IMDb is being like, none of this would happen.
There is not so
many fail safes in the competition. This would never occur. Like for instance, like them changing the tracks, you know, they have like you have your music locked in
every single time. Their costumes were different for every rehearsal.
My favorite one was the Thumbelina moment.
You know, that little red dress, and she's like, I hate it.
But okay, so for those of you so in Thumbelina, for those of you, voiced by Jodie Benson, the voice of Little Mermaid, it's this little animation film from the 90s, and she marries Mr. Mole, or they're trying to get her to marry Mr. Mole after she's been kidnapped and dumped off in his lair. And he puts her in this ridiculous dress to get married in, and it's so amazing and funny. And I guess, I mean, probably true to some type of style in Europe, because what a unique silhouette that seems to have been almost identically copied for this. So it must be like
but yeah, so Rachel McAdams, like she comes out in this like rainbow pop ruffle contraption of a dress.
Just got like bulbs.
She's so angry at Lars, and she like starts ripping the dress apart, and it gets down to this teeny tiny little layer of a red dress, and she's just standing there like a pouty child. She's like, it's hideous, I hate it. And I was like, that is every actor who's had to wear a costume that they hated.
Of course, like
poor Sheila.
Sheila's naked. Okay.
Sheila's all over the world or cringing. Fine.
I love that moment. And speaking of costumes, I wanted to give a shout out to the costume designer, Anna B. Shepherd. Anna B. Shepherd, go you. Wow.
I wanted to wear
I'm not just talking about the Eurovision costumes, which like, were beautifully
their actual
stunning.
Clothing.
So good. Mm-hmm. But even the individual characters, like Pierce, the difference between Pierce and Will's characters, outfits and stuff, everything was just so colorful. And like Sigrid had all of these like amazing,
like
sort of cottage
and
feel. Yeah.
I wanted everything she wore. Like literally everything.
So cozy. I was like, I feel the salt air blowing about me. Yeah, it was a really aesthetically pleasing movie for costumes.
So sweet, so lovely.
Go Anna. Yeah.
Right?
And I loved that God, what's his name? I just want to call him
Dan.
Gosh, why is that so hard?
Limtov. Like, we can call him like Limtov.
Downton Abbey over here. I love Downton Abbey's costumes because he basically just wears pants. Downton Dan. That's a good one. Mm-hmm. He usually just wears like tight pants, no shirt, and a beautifully gorgeous jacket. Mm-hmm. And that is a style I can really get behind. He looks amazing in it. So
honestly, he's got like the like highlighted hair, and I was like, I'm not mad.
I'm not mad.
I'm not mad. It's a little poofy, but I'm not mad.
It's got volume. It's got movement. It's perfect for that lion.
He's selling it.
He does.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So I know on a lot of the things that I was reading on the internet when I was my research is that everyone was asking like, are they really singing? And
yes, no.
Yes, no. Like Will Ferrell does all of his own singing, and you can tell. It's stunning, but
he's got good tone, but he's not necessarily a trained singer.
Right.
He's on pitch.
And then Rachel McAdams she did have someone dub over a lot of her stuff, except for the moment in the hotel, where they're lodging, where they're staying, she's playing on the piano. And then they had her record some of the songs to like mix it with the other.
Yeah.
With
so
the other gal.
Her vocals were performed by Swedish singer Molly Sandin.
So talented.
I don't know it's got an accent over the E. But she's credited as My Marianne on all of the album tracks and then in the credits as well. And it's so fun that she was actually part of the Junior Eurovision Song Contest 2006.
Oh, cool.
So she kind of like got her moment. Like she's young. I think she's like born in 92. Like,
oh dang. So
and
straight up 29.
Mwah.
Oh, it's like butter. You know what I mean?
So good. It's such a beautiful tone. And then she was also part of, let me see if I can say this, Melodi Festivalen in 2009 and 2016.
Oh, nice.
So I'm assuming that's another type of song contest.
She's doing well.
So she performed all of the songs, and then you're correct. Rachel McAdams' actual voice can be heard in the hotel room when she's writing it, and then also during the first Eurovision rehearsal when he like throws all the dancers around her.
Yeah.
That's actually Rachel McAdams, but other than that, she sang everything. It just was kind of mixed in.
Yeah, which is fair. And to be honest, I think in the past I get frustrated with movies that have music in them when they do actually a lot of
perform them. Yeah,
but I've got to say, I really didn't mind because Will Ferrell sang all of his stuff. So that gave it the thing that it needed, I think. Yeah. And then there were so many truly actually them talented people on screen, not just in the song along, but for the
other entries.
Yes. And for like the guy, I think the 2019 winner sings that song and he's playing the piano.
Yeah, and
in the beginning.
Yes. His name was started with an S. I don't think I wrote his name down. Maybe I did.
Shame on us, but
Salvador. I did write it down.
Salvador. God bless Salvador.
2017 was his year. 2017. He won for Portugal in 2017. Salvador Sobral.
And that
name.
Song.
And he plays the artist in the like park.
Yeah.
On the piano.
Oh, so beautiful. So beautiful. It doesn't even sound like a real voice. You know what I mean? It sounds, but it's just stunning
and
music.
I regularly listen to this soundtrack on Spotify because it's such a bop. And I think we're like going to talk about all of the amazing artists here in a second, but there is one track on there called the Eurovision Suite, and it's just like your typical underscoring, and it's all the underscoring that happens while they're kind of like exploring Edinburgh. And they're like driving around and like on their bikes and all of that, and it's just this delightful little piano suite, and I love it. It is so charming, and it's what I imagine actually driving through all of those European towns feels like.
When you go to Europe, when we go to Europe, let me amend that statement. When we go to Europe, we need to like have a soundtrack and be like compiled, because like Tour de France, it's from like that animated film Little Prince. There's a song there called, oh my God, I love that song, and I play it all the time when I need a cheery drive. It's such a great little travel number. But yes, the music for this is just above and beyond. And I mean, the credits for this movie are like
10,000 years long.
So long. And I love,
and they have to be
everyone's little country flag next to there. It's so sweet.
I love
that. I love that. I didn't know that Pierce Brosnan was
born in Ireland.
Scotland.
The orange, white, and green flag, I think.
Pierce, where are you from?
I think he was born in Ireland.
Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then he's an American citizen, so he got both.
Right, he got both. That's very cute. Also, fun fact. So I think most people know this, but Pierce was, this movie centers heavily around ABBA. That's like the inspiration for
Lars.
For the beginning of the story. And Pierce was also in Mamma Mia, and he sort of reenacted that Waterloo number at the end of the Mamma Mia movie. So it was sort of like he's come full circle.
And then we get a Waterloo feature in the song along.
Yes.
And then so the thing about the song along that I found is kind of a funny little nod. So 2 of the 5 songs that are used in that are actually connected to Eurovision. And that would be Waterloo, and French speakers all over will hate me. Ne partez pas sans moi.
Okay.
I think it's French. I think it's French. But those are the 2 Eurovision songs, and then the other 3, no connection to Eurovision at all. But it's a bop.
I love that.
And then you get all of those great features for all of the previous Eurovision contestants and winners.
It's all worth it for Conchita, to be honest.
She's
the second beautiful. That camera like pans up, but from behind.
You see the back first,
and you're
like,
already like,
dress,
yes,
this hair,
the dress,
chef's kiss, and then it pans around. And you're like, she's beautiful.
So beautiful.
Just immaculate hair, immaculate beard, the dress.
Just amazing.
Yes. So Conchita Wurst. I don't know. She's Austrian. She was the winner in 2014, which Will Ferrell actually attended Eurovision that year. So he saw her.
I loved that, and then gave her like the most perfect feature ever.
She gets like the climax of the song.
Really has a great
that
reveal.
high note, and
she's not just walking down a flight of stairs. She's like center of the room,
letting everyone come to her.
Love that. I love so the guy that plays he's on the committee, which I love that there's a commit, you know what I mean? Like they're like, we'll get them ready, which I guess makes sense. Like if you win a pageant, you have like a pageant.
You got a team.
So that makes sense. But the guy that plays the like head guy, the bad guy, Ferrell he is very attractive, and he is a Swedish actor. And one of his most recent notable projects was Sex Education. He's in that with Gillian Anderson. The UK Netflix. It's very good. If you guys haven't seen that, dive in. It's very fun and also really educational. But he's in that, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize that it's the same person until I rewatched it. And
no, he was great. And I love that, like, spoiler, he kind of becomes a villain after the fact. Like, he's kind of just like the grumpy naysayer most of the time.
Right.
And then he gets to be a villain for 0.5 seconds.
Well, and okay, so this is heavy spoilers. You have to have seen this. Just fast forward like 30 seconds if you haven't watched it
and don't want spoilers.
Okay, starting now. So when at the very end, he comes in and he's like, I'm going to kill you because we can't afford to host next year if you win.
Like, also, we'll go broke.
Killed everyone on that boat. And I'm like, so we just got like mass murderer.
Yeah.
Bad
dude.
Bad guy. And like, then you're going to kill him with a thing? What?
Yeah.
And then, ooh,
the elves.
This is aggressive.
The elves.
The elves. And then the elves. So yeah, for those of you who just joined us again, welcome back. Spoilers are over. But it was, I loved that whole transition. I thought that was kind of brilliant and aggressive, but that's what Will Ferrell does. It's like this simple, you know what I mean, contest story thing. And then at the end, it's like, ha, you know what
dark.
I mean? So
and then we've got Katiana appearing like 2 or 3 times, played by Demi Lovato. It was a great little feature for her. She got to like belt her lungs off. And then she just kind of like walked around with this little shit-eating grin the whole rest of the time.
Like,
she just like appeared and she's like,
hey. She gets to do some special effects makeup. She gets to have a ghost scene. Like,
Will Ferrell yells, "You are not a very helpful ghost," at her, which is what will be said about me. I can only assume.
You're that chaotic neutral energy.
You're not a very helpful ghost.
I really did like her in this. I thought it was very fun. I did think it was funny that they were like the in real life Icelandic people pretended to be entries from other countries. But then the Icelandic representation was an American.
We're Americans.
Americans, so I love that. But I mean, hey, I wonder how this movie did over there. I
hope it did well. I hope they had a good time watching it. We had a ton of representation across Europe because so the group that is titled Moonfang, and they're the ones in the like scary like monster costumes.
Yeah,
it's a real bop of a song. I really wish there were like 2 more minutes of it because it's only like 1.5 minutes on the track. And I would like more. But it's a good song. But they are portrayed in the film by an English ska punk band named Bogus Gasman.
Oh, how exciting.
But they are a pastiche of the Finnish metal group Lordi, Lordi. And they are never seen outside of their elaborate monster costumes. And they represented Finland in the 2006 contest with Hard Rock Hallelujah. And they won.
I love that.
So yeah, they kind of represent an actual
Hard
band.
Rock Hallelujah.
And are portrayed by an English band. And I love that.
That's very cool. That is super neat.
And then I have one more little fun fact about one of the other entrants. So the song that was portrayed as the Finnish entrant is an actual song that is titled Fool Moon, Fool Moon. And it's by British indie band Anteros. And Will Ferrell selected the song himself. And the band was like in full disbelief. They couldn't believe that they had been asked to appear, and the lead singer thought that the request was a joke. Like, and it's like, no, Will Ferrell just like likes you and
like, LOL, you're hilarious. Let's go.
No, please.
Will Ferrell, you're kidding me. Step Brothers, I get it. I've seen that. They're like, no, dude.
Anchorman, Ron Burgundy.
Ron Burgundy likes my music.
So what a lovely feature for them.
That is very cool. I think that this was so, I mean, it is so fun. And even though obviously like it breaks all the rules of Eurovision and it's like so unrealistic on
we all know
very many levels, it's so entertaining and it's very sparkly and pretty to watch. It's very fun. It gives me the same vibes, but like a different font than The Greatest Showman, because I felt like The Greatest Showman is so cheery and beautiful to see. It's such a spectacular, but it does kind of like leave you feel there's like an undertow of
something
of darkness.
Yeah.
And this is light. Brighter than that. Yeah.
This is watercolors. They're painting oil paint over there. No, I love this movie. I think it is so delightful. And I want to talk about Dan Stevens real quick because Alexander Limtov is such a great character.
So good. So funny. It's so complicated.
He's so funny because he's like very clearly being painted gay in the whole movie.
Right.
And the whole time he's like, no, I'm not gay. I'm Russian.
There's no gay Russians.
I'm Russian. There are no gay Russians. And she's like, statistically, that is that cannot be possible. So you see the whole time he is sort of painted to be a villain, but at the end of the day, he's really never a villain. He's not even active about trying to steal Sigrid away from Lars.
Yeah, no.
He just really wants her to be his beard.
Like, you seem very nice.
I would like to sing with you, and maybe we get married, and you are my beard.
And we'll hang out. I'll braid your hair.
Beautiful braids, by the way.
Just a lovely braid.
She's like, oh, it's very good.
I did laugh though. She's like, were you watching these things? He was like, no, I was braiding your hair. And she's like, how long did it take you? And he's like, 6 hours. Girl, were you waiting for her to change positions? Like
holding it, and then she like rolls over. And he's like, oh, fantastic.
Were you using her to learn how to braid hair? Because it should not have taken 6 hours.
He redid it
for you
multiple
to do
times. It's like that scene in Princess Diaries too, where he used to redo it like 12 times.
She went through the whole like Game of Thrones, Daenerys.
He settled on like 4.
Yeah. He was like, okay, we'll go back.
4 is maybe the top. But he really is like sort of like painted to be this like conflict between Lars and Sigrid, and he really never is. He's actually the biggest of bros. Again, spoiler, Lars walks away.
Yeah.
After the horrifying
because he misses the announcement.
He misses the announcement. But Limtov, not even performing that night, goes and sits with Sigrid and just like hypes her up the whole time. Like it seems very sweet and genuine instead of like there doesn't seem to be like an ulterior like ha ha.
Like, I'll cheer for her and then I'll steal her
mustache like
yeah.
Like there doesn't seem to be that. He just seems to genuinely be like, oh, they're there. It's okay. I'll sit with you. And then he's like, oh, that's you, Iceland. And she's like, no, that's not real. And he's like, I heard it.
I don't know. It is. Seems
but
like
he's just so delightful. And then we get the fun banter between him and Mita.
I love that. And because
Melissanthi Mahut.
Yeah.
She's a great
yes.
name.
She's great. I loved that he wasn't, excuse me. I love that he wasn't just like bad guy twiddling his mustache.
He really wasn't.
Because it really the whole if you want to have like the bad guy, the source of the conflict is the lack of communication between Lars and Sigrid. And so when because the whole time she's like, I don't like this dress. I don't like the new track. She's using very clear language.
Being very vocal and saying, I love you. Like, when can we be together? And it seems very obvious that like, they've talked about this, that she's in love with him. And everyone else seems to be kind of learning as we go.
Yeah. It is funny to me that their relationship is very vague.
It's very vague, and he almost seems oblivious to it, and yet also knows exactly how she feels.
Right. He's like, I don't know, we make out sometimes and I love her and want to marry her, but I'm too busy and like
trying to win the Eurovision Song Contest.
I'm going to keep living with my dad, trying to get our own cottage. It's like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? But I do think that, so when they do finally communicate and he listens to her and they go back to the original song, he's like, you're right. I should have listened to you. It's like, you finally see them come together, obviously as a couple, but that they learn to communicate. And I like that it wasn't somebody else trying to break them up. It was them working it out in their own.
Yeah. And he was just kind of there as like conflict to I guess make Lars realize that
the jealousy factor, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But Limtov was like not even aggressive about it. He was just like, hey, would be cool if we sang together.
Wouldn't that be nice? She's like, yeah, no, okay.
Anyway,
you are gay. I don't know how to tell you this.
Like, are you gay? He's like, nope.
I'm gay. Oh, brilliantly done.
So lovely.
It is. I really enjoyed this. I actually watched it the first time with you when I came down to visit when I wasn't living in
listen, this is a hoot and a half. We're gonna watch it. It's a good time.
Good. It really is. It's good. It's a great if you need a pick me up.
You get a little, it's a feel good.
Yeah. Watch it with your teenagers.
It'll make you want to go to Europe and just like bicycle around.
I'm sure that like there's so many, I'm sure we talked about how this film wasn't super talked about, but like, I wonder if there's going to be an influx in like the US interest in
Iceland.
And now, like the rest of Europe is like, America, you cannot have Eurovision. Like you can't.
They literally talk about it in the movie where he just like yells at the Americans. They're like college kids from Arizona State. And he's like, we hate you. Go back to
I love at the end. They're
Starbucks.
Like, no, man, we're going to Paris. He's like, no, don't go there. It's disgusting. Everybody hates it. Drive me. Take me to the contest. Go, Jeff. Come on, Jamba Juice.
He goes, there are no speed limits in all of Europe. Go.
Just go. Oh my God.
Such a good moment. But yeah, he just like verbally berates the Americans the whole time. And they're like, okay, bye.
Okay, see ya.
Like, go back to Starbucks or whatever. And they're like, oh, where is there one?
Do you got them? You got a Starbucks?
Like, where is that? And he's like, you're all idiots. And I'm like,
this is accurate.
So many people
likely really
probably
accurate.
do think that about us. And I'm like, I know her.
I know. I know her.
I know. We know.
Fine. It's fine. Anywho.
But yeah, watch it.
Give it a watch. Yeah. Let us know what you think. And if you've already seen it, and if you're like, guys, everyone loves this movie. It was a national sensation and we missed that train. Let us know. Because man,
but we're here to talk about what we love anyway.
Yeah, it's a delight. So give it a watch. Let us know. Let us know what your favorite song is.
Yeah.
We want to know. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube series if that's what you're watching it on, or follow us on Spotify, Apple, Anchor, anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
I'm Bailey Maxwell.
And I'm Caitlin Martell.
And this is Please
and Take It with you.
Goodbye.